This serene body of water is the largest lake in the country that I'm standing in. And also, according to local legend, it is home to a reclusive monster. But it's probably not the lake you're thinking of. So find out where I am and what it's called in just a moment. Today's buyers are excited about returning to their roots and embracing a rural life back in the UK. Our couple question whether they've moved to the right country.
These cupboards are looking decidedly French. Even to the cooker hood, yeah.
But are then pleasantly surprised when our properties render one half of our duo speechless.
Quiet is good.
Yes. Well, Helen will soon tell you if she doesn't like something.
Today I'm in North Wales and this is Lake Bala, or to give it its Welsh name, Llyn Tegith, which means the Lake of Serenity. Now, despite the name, locals say that the lake, which is 4 miles long and a mile wide, is home to a very retiring monster that they call, appropriately, Teggy. Now, we don't know about the monster's whereabouts, but we do know that this is the only lake in Wales that is home to a very rare species of fish called the gwyniad, which has been living here since the Ice Age. And you can guess with views and landscape like this that human inhabitants have always chosen to live here too, at least for the last 10,000 years. North Wales is made up of 6 counties, including Denbighshire and Flintshire. Covering some 800 square miles of the region is the Snowdonia National Park, which is home to the highest peak in England and Wales, Mount Snowdon. On the southern edge of the famous mountain range and perched on the edge of the River Malvach is the beautiful hamlet of Penmaenpool. In 1879, a wooden toll bridge spanning the picturesque estuary was erected. Now costing just 20 pence for pedestrians and 60 pence for cars to cross, this Grade 2 listed structure is also a popular spot for birdwatching. Out towards the northern coast, at Conwy, is one of the country's 600 castles. Commissioned by Edward I during the 13th century, it was a key fortress in his Iron Ring of castles, strategically situated high above the River Conwy, and certainly remains one of Wales' most magnificent castles. Inland market towns include Ruthin, which boasts the oldest timbered townhouse in the country, which was constructed around 1435 to house weavers' merchants. With its enticing mix of historic architecture and vast unspoilt scenery, cut by some of the most dramatic waterfalls in the UK, this region really does make the ideal backdrop for those looking to get away from it all. Bricks and mortar are good value in Wales. The average price for a detached house here is £170,000, which is a whopping £100,000 less than the national figure. So your property pound goes a lot further, particularly when you consider if you cross the border over into Shropshire, the same sort of house might cost you £70,000 more. So apart from good value and beautiful countryside, what else is attracting our buyers here this week? Marketing manager Robin and his wife Helen are visiting Wales for a week and are staying at a hotel in Ruthin whilst they search for a new home. They met at a mutual friend's barbecue in 2001, and during their early married years, Robin was offered a relocation package, which took them from Wokingham in Surrey to overseas. So for the last 12 years, they've been living in Normandy, northwest France.
We had an opportunity to have a complete lifestyle change. Helen was able to live at home and have animals at home and be a housewife and do what she always wanted to do. And we arrived in France saying, wow, what have we done? And that was it. It was the start of a new adventure.
Yeah.
That the children are at a point where they're getting ready to leave home. So we think it's now an ideal time for us to make a move and do something different with the rest of our lives.
2 of their 3 daughters are already finishing higher education in the UK. Furthermore, although our couple have tried their best to learn French in a bid to integrate with the locals, they are far from fluent. There are other elements of daily life that remain a bugbear.
Everything shuts at 12 for 2 hours. The supermarkets, the banks, all the shops.
And you always run out of things at just 12.
They've also come to the conclusion that video calling close relatives based in the UK just doesn't compare to face-to-face contact.
The thing we miss the most is our friends and our family. Not as easy to see them and catch up with them. And our parents are getting older, they can't travel to France so much. So easier for us to see them and them to see us.
Excited about exploring a new location, which still gives them the countryside they've enjoyed in France, but with less language issues, they've decided to return and settle in North Wales.
It's lovely and green, and when the weather's nice here, it's beautiful.
One thing we'd like to do is discover more about Wales, more about its history, its heritage.
Yes.
Come and look at some of the major landmarks. We're both interested in old houses, castles, that type of thing.
Since Helen no longer has to run around after their daughters, she's looking forward to following more green-fingered pursuits, particularly the possibility of growing plants for medicinal purposes.
Whilst I've been in France, I have been studying herbalism. I really want to pursue that more and give more time to that.
As well as horticulture, their new Welsh home also needs land that's suitable for their 3 dogs, as well as the ducks and chickens they're hoping to continue keeping. They're also keen to introduce eco-friendly measures, which they already have in France.
We have a well in the garden, which we extract water from via a pump, which is used for watering the garden. And we harvest the rainwater from the house. And that goes into the pond, which is used by the ducks.
With their beautiful French farmhouse already on the market, it's au revoir to France and hello, or perhaps more appropriately, Bore-da to Wales.
We're not running away from France, we're not escaping from France back to the UK.
It's a new adventure, it's a new area, it's new people.
It's now our time to go and do things as a couple and actually think, okay, this is what we want to do for the next 20 years before we retire.
Robin and Helen are fairly unfamiliar with the countryside of North Wales and are therefore flexible about where they move to. Not only am I eager to welcome them back and find out exactly what they want from their new home, I'm also itching to practice my French. Bonjour, welcome to Wales, Pays de Gaulle. How are you feeling being back in the homeland?
Very good, very good. Yes. It's nice to be back.
Nice English weather you brought with you.
Yes, just the same.
And I know that you've struggled a bit with French. How is your Welsh?
Absolutely non-existent, but I can say Bore-da.
Oh, very good. Well,
Yeah.
that'll come in handy.
Yeah, and I've learnt that recently, yes.
And Robin, what are you looking for in terms of the house?
So ideally we're looking for a 4-bedroom property with up to an acre of land. We'd like the new property maybe to include some eco-features or the ability to incorporate those later on. So we're thinking more along the lines of solar power, maybe ground source heat pump system, something just to be a little bit more greener.
What will you use the 4 bedrooms for?
The 4 bedrooms will give you a larger footprint downstairs, which is where obviously we spend most time. It will give the ability for Robin to have an office as well, and possibly me also to have my own area.
And you want an acre of land, that's quite a lot of land. What are you going to do with that?
Personally, I like a nice big workshop and garage. We both like outdoor space. Helen loves her garden.
I want to grow some herbs and have a wild area as well.
And in terms of location, do you want to be sort of in a village, out in the middle of nowhere?
On the edge of a village, somewhere that we can maybe join in with the community, but be far enough away to be rural.
And in terms of the style, are you looking for an old building, new? Tell me about that.
Not a new build. Really anything with character.
But you also want sort of modern because you want the eco features?
No, because the eco features can be external.
And remind us again of your budget.
So £400,000, and within that we like to include some of the eco features if possible.
Your money goes quite a long way in terms of property in France. I mean, have you got a massive estate?
6 bedroomed, so we're downsizing in effect.
And before it starts to rain, let's get in the car and go. Follow me. With a budget of £400,000 to play with, our buyers are after a character property with 4 bedrooms. Robin would like a workshop, whilst Helen requires an acre of land to grow herbs. Ideally, they'd also like their new property to feature elements that are eco-friendly. We've hunted high and low to track down some beautiful Welsh properties in stunning settings, which I hope will appeal to our couple. But the price will be held back until each house tour is over. Our final effort is the rather challenging mystery option, where proportions and plot present an alternative arrangement to their ideal Welsh retreat. So imagine that you've got your house, you've moved in, What are the things that you're most looking forward to being able to go and do?
You quite like going to the WI, wouldn't you? You quite like the sound of that.
I quite like the sound of that.
Helen makes a lot of jams and chutneys.
Robin, you probably join a 4x4 club.
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple of older ones. One I'm currently restoring on, one's waiting to be restored. And maybe we'll find a new hobby together.
Yeah, that would be
Yes.
absolutely great.
We're beginning our search on the Welsh-Shropshire border and heading to the hamlet of Pentracoed. Nearby is the traditional market town of Ellesmere, where a mix of Tudor, Georgian and Victorian buildings sit alongside a scattering of small craft and antique stores. The High Street is a hive of activity with a wealth of everyday amenities and a variety of eateries, ranging from quaint tea rooms to 16th century pubs. Just over 3 miles away, situated down a quiet lane and with far-reaching views over the Welsh landscape, is house number 1. And this is the first property. It's an unusual property because it's actually a converted barn, and then there's this sort of outbuilding which is converted into another dwelling here, so it's sort of two.
Lovely.
OK, yes.
Very nice. It's very quiet, nice and peaceful.
Yes, very warm kind
Yes.
of feel to it. Yeah. It looks very new.
Well, it actually dates back to 1807 as the original barn.
Not so new, then. I'd be interested to see inside.
Yeah, let's go in here.
OK.
This 19th century barn, converted around 15 years ago, previously formed part of a Pentracoed farm. Sympathetically renovated, original character features are apparent on all 3 levels of accommodation. With conservative reactions outside, I'm hoping that the interior might just conjure up some comparisons to our couple's current home.
These cupboards are looking decidedly French.
This is a
Even
home
to
from
the
home.
cooker hood, yeah. Yeah. So,
Space for a table's good, though.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
It's a little smaller than I'd thought.
But then again, it's only mainly going to be the 2 of us going forward.
This is it.
So
And you are downsizing.
And we are
We are
downsizing.
downsizing, yeah.
So,
Painful as that is.
Yes.
You've got the utility room there with all kind of white goods and the kind of fridge, and also
Right,
kind of a downstairs loo and a shower, in fact.
Downstairs shower, great for dogs. Put them straight into the
Straight in
shower
the
and wash them off. So, excellent.
And also just point out that there is a dining room as well, so
Yes.
this is not your only eating space.
OK, good.
I have a feeling that Helen is a little unconvinced. The main living room is located on the first floor and provides more character, so perhaps she'll be taken with the beamed ceiling. Mind your head. So the beams get a little bit
Yes.
lower on the second
Yes.
floor.
That is quite intimidating, actually. And that, I think, was going to become a real issue. Because it's right in everybody's line of vision as well, and it sort of divides the room up.
That'll be a first for us, having to duck our heads. But nice outlook to the garden through the window, so that's
Yes.
nice. Good.
It's nice, but it's small.
Yeah, it feels small. And maybe that's
feel
something we have to come to terms with. Things have changed over the last 12 years since we've been away. And we have to be a little bit more realistic.
Houses have all shrunk.
Yes.
You've got this sitting room here, and then over there you've got a study cum bedroom.
Right, OK.
Let's go upstairs, that's where the master bedroom is.
OK.
Robin seems to be open to what's on offer, but Helen is proving to be a tougher cookie than I first thought. I'm not giving up, though, as there's plenty more to impress them. Up in the eaves, there is a modest family bathroom, which is shared by 2 well-presented and comfortable double bedrooms. We're stopping off at the largest of the bedrooms, which benefits from the height of the original wooden A-frame of the barn's structure. The space opens up here, up in the eaves.
It's nice.
Yeah, this is fine. This is all right.
high
It's the
ceilings into
low
the
door
beams.
again.
Yes, that will be tricky, I think. It would
Let's see if you get up in the
take a
middle of the
while to
night.
get acclimatised to that.
It's a nice room, but it's just it's something not there. Something's
doorway.
missing.
The doorway's
Doorway.
done it.
Yeah.
Let's look at the modern extension and see if that has higher doors. We don't appear to have made much headway, as the property doesn't seem to be tugging at their hearts, but I've got one more shot at winning them over. Back outside, and with its own entrance, is a detached garage, which could be useful for storing Robin's 4x4 vehicles. Above the garage, there's a large, flexible living space which was converted by the current owners 9 years ago.
Yeah, this is nice.
It's lovely, yes. Nice headroom.
This could be your office.
Yeah.
Small commute.
Yes. We're not too far to go and fetch cups of tea for each other. So that will be good.
Well, there is a washroom and shower downstairs. I mean, you could make it into a bedroom if you wanted.
It's possible. Maybe
Yes.
if one of the children came back,
Yes.
they'd have to move our office, but...
We'll put a sofa bed up here.
Let's take a look at the outside space, because that's the one thing we haven't discussed.
Okay.
Thank goodness for that. Some positive reactions at last. Finally, it's time to explore the garden, which is located at the front and to the side of the property. Mostly lawn with established borders, this quiet rural setting is surrounded by uninterrupted country views. It's not quite the acre Robin and Helen were after. However, the adjacent field could provide a solution. So land, this property only has 1/3 of an acre. It's pretty much this lawned area is your garden.
Okay.
This paddock doesn't belong to you, but it would be available to rent.
Yes.
Excellent.
It belongs basically to the farmer next door,
Yes.
and as you
Yeah.
can see, they don't have anything on it. The other part of the puzzle is the price.
Yes.
So what do you think this property is on?
Wow. I would go in at £365,000.
I'd probably say 375.
You're actually smack bang in the middle of those. It's £5 short of 370.
Wow.
Right.
Okay. It's
yes,
very
very
good
accurate.
value, yes. Yes.
So have a look around. Take your time to explore, and I'll see you later.
Okay. Right.
£30,000 below the top budget, this converted barn with a host of charming character features has 3 bedrooms. Situated in a rural setting, on paper, it has pretty much all the elements that our couple are after. And they would still be left with money in their pocket to install eco-features.
It's obviously a lovely home. It's got an ideal with the outbuilding, with the garage, with the living accommodation above. It's been restored to a very good standard. The only issue really I have is the low ceilings.
Location and setting-wise, I don't think we could have asked for anything more. I'm just not sold on the second floor of the house.
Good, you haven't crowned yourself on one of those low beams.
No, not at all.
OK, so that's this one all done and dusted. Let's head on to the next. When they make their move to Wales, our buyers are keen to lead a more sustainable lifestyle. And they'll be in good company, as the country is home to Europe's leading eco-centre, on the site of the disused Clwyn Gwern slate quarry in the Snowdonia National Park. Originally built in 1973, the Centre for Alternative Technology, known as CAT, now attracts over 65,000 visitors every year, and we've arranged for Robin and Helen to meet Communications Officer Kim Bryan to get some green ideas for their prospective new home.
So what is CAT's ultimate aim?
I think what we're trying to do is inform, inspire and enable people towards practical solutions for sustainable living, and that can be somebody that comes here and wants to go home and build themselves a straw bale house and install solar panels on their roof, or it could be someone that comes here and just goes home and wants to change their light bulb.
So what are the features here that help people live a more sustainable lifestyle?
Well, we've got the wonderful organic gardens, which are demonstrations of how you can grow vegetables and flowers and the importance of biodiversity in the garden. We've got examples of renewable energy, we've got hydro, wind and solar, and we've also got examples of sustainable buildings around the site.
So what kind of things could we do to make our house more sustainable?
Insulation. Insulate your walls, insulate your floor, insulate your roof, because that's where we lose so much of our energy. The other thing is energy efficiency. So that's the type of appliances that you buy, be it your washing machine, your tumble dryer, and making sure they've got a AAA rating. There's lots of little things that you can do around the house that can make a real difference.
As well as advice on how to make our homes more energy efficient, the centre offers lots of practical courses teaching sustainable skills such as rustic furniture making and traditional timber framing. Our buyers have been invited to join today's course on straw baling with expert B. Rowan, who has been teaching this technique around the world for about 18 years.
Where do you get the straw from?
Local materials, local straw. We always encourage people to develop a good relationship with their local farmer. And as long as the bales are nice and dense, they're uniform length and they're kept dry, you can build with them. So now to be a straw bale builder, one of the first things you need to know how to do is to split a bale. Because if you imagine we're going to be using them as big bricks, we need whole bricks and half bricks. So let's go and split a bale.
Straw as a building material has been used for many thousands of years. However, straw bale construction was greatly facilitated by the mechanical hay baler, which was invented in the 1850s. Pursley B uses garden twine to mark the centre of the bale before it is then threaded through a giant needle.
The string going around the right side through the top hole from the right, and the one going around the left through the bottom hole from the left.
It's then inserted through the middle of the bale.
Robin, would you like to go around and just hold that bale for me? Steady that while I take this needle through.
It is dense.
It is very dense, isn't it? Very nice, dense building bale.
Straw bales are perfect for load bearing, as well as infill and insulation. Taking the string through the centre and then tying it around the outside helps each new half bale to retain its form.
Helen, you're a natural. And I'll do the same here.
The original strings left by the baling machine are then cut.
So this is where it gets interesting. You ready? That's it. Separate those out. And if you've gone through, let's pop those up. There we have our two wonderful new half bales. So you now have your straw bale building badge.
Stage one.
Thank you.
Using straw to build is a low-cost and low-impact option, but its simplicity doesn't compromise on quality. This means it's making a comeback, even in the building of modern properties. So with some green ideas under their belt, let's hope we can find Helen and Robin their perfect home, where they can put some of them to good use. Our second offering takes us further into Wales, to the county of Denbighshire and the rural hamlet of Saron. Close by is the town of Denbigh. With more listed buildings than any other in Wales, the town has been home to princes and earls, rebels and revolutionaries who have shaped the local architecture. For 9 centuries, the castle walls have protected the town, where there is a fine selection of independent shops, cafes, pubs and restaurants. Just over 5 miles away and nestled within a valley in the foot of the Llandudno hills is our next property. I wanted to bring you here partly because this is your paddock.
Right.
And this, should you accept the challenge, is your house and view.
Wow.
Wow.
That is fantastic. Absolutely
Fantastic.
Yes. It's a lovely view.
Yes, thank you.
Very
We'll
nice. Thank
take
you.
it.
It's pretty special, isn't it?
Yes.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And a solar panel already. So starting off with the eco in the...
The green is
Yes.
already
Yes.
noticed. What you're looking at is an old Welsh longhouse. So sort of that long ridge to the left is the longhouse. And then there's a barn to the front that have been joined into one. It goes right back to the beginning of the 18th century, so 1717. Mm-hmm. Shall we venture down?
We should.
Yes, please. Yes.
Come this way. As an unconventional house, the accommodation is on various levels and was extended by the current owners to incorporate a converted barn in 2008. So it presents our couple with a quirky blend of old and new features. Given their reactions outside, let's see what they make of the interior as we head to the historic heart of the house. And this is the kitchen, and you see these fantastic kind of stone flagstones. Written on the beam there, you can see 1717.
This is lovely.
It's a beautiful kitchen.
How does it grab you for size?
Besides, it's good. It just seems to be spacious.
This side of the house is really heated by the range cooker there and by a big log burner.
Okay.
The other side of the house is underfloor heated by ground exchange heat system.
Wow, fantastic.
So, you know that, and that is what you're looking for.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes.
Yes.
Does it get the thumbs up?
It does.
certainly does.
So as I say, this is the older part of the house.
Yes.
Let's look at the new part. On the ground floor, the oldest part lies in one wing of the property. As well as the kitchen, which we have just seen, there's also a utility room, a sitting room, and 2 bedrooms. One is an attractive guest room, and the sitting room features a wood burner. But we're going to explore the main living room in the more recent wing of the property, which is slightly elevated and so maximises those views across the valley. This side of the house is a real change of gear, much more modern.
Very nice.
Lots of light, windows. Looks like a balcony outside as well.
You've got a fantastically huge sort of dining area, roof terrace, and then a smaller sort of little balcony here, which looks right over the Llandudno hills and the rising sun. What are you thinking, Helen? You've gone a bit quiet.
Just taking it in.
Taking it in. Mm-hmm. Is that a good sign? I can't
Yes.
quite read her body language.
No. It's a good sign.
Okay, good.
It's a good sign, yes.
Good. Quiet is good.
Yes. Well, Helen will soon tell you if she doesn't like stuff.
Well, this is the sort of the area here. You've got another office next door, but actually your sleeping accommodation is underneath.
All right.
Well, what a difference a house makes. And there's still more to see. Downstairs, but still within the newer part of the property, there's a kitchenette and 2 good-sized double bedrooms. One of these is currently used as a gym and has its own ensuite, with the added bonus of a sauna. But as tempting as that may sound, we're heading to the master.
It's a house that just keeps on giving.
It is.
Fancy waking up in the morning and just looking at them. You wouldn't draw the curtains, really, would you?
It's a lovely view.
And this part could be a completely self-contained area.
Excellent. It's fantastic. I mean, the house is unusual, it's quirky in its layout, but it's certainly very special. Very good.
But I am going to drag you out, confusingly, out into the garden now to give you the price.
Right.
And to have a look at these lovely grounds. Outside and to the front of the property, there's a huge workshop, ideal for Robin in particular, as it can be accessed from the house. Then, for Helen, the extensive grounds here amount to 4 acres and include 3 separate paddocks which surround the property. Set within the ornamental gardens is a vegetable patch, a variety of fruit trees and a duck pond. I suspect these beautiful gardens surrounded by all this land might just be the icing on the cake.
Chickens,
Ducks.
And a cat. Aww.
and a cat. What more could you want?
That's right.
So it's a substantial property. What do you think it's on the market for?
It's definitely over our budget, so I would say £410,000.
I'm going to go even higher. I'm going to say as much as £440,000.
They wouldn't be that cruel, would they? Would they?
You'd be surprised. Once again, between you, you're pretty accurate. We are a little cruel in the sense that it is officially on the market for £425,000. But we have spoken to the owner and he has said that he would take an offer at your top budget of 400.
Wow.
Wow.
That seems incredible for the quantity of land and for the size of the property.
Yes.
And with all the eco-features already installed.
Well, go and explore and then I'll meet you at the front once you've got your bearings.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And you? Yes, come back to me. What do you think, Pussy? Should they buy it? Just over the maximum budget at £425,000, but with the owner open to negotiation, this extended Welsh longhouse combines a mix of traditional and modernised character features. With eco measures already in place and 4 acres of land set within an idyllic rural location, this property appears to suit our couple down to the ground.
It's a fantastic location. We are in lovely countryside here. It's nice and quiet and peaceful. The bonus, I think, is the eco features that already come with the house.
Really spectacular. This is a very big contender.
So that's one's all done for the day. You've got a little time to digest it, and then we'll regroup for tomorrow.
Excellent, thank you.
It's day 2 of our property search with Helen and Robin, who after 12 years living in Normandy, France, want to help themselves to a slice of country life by moving to North Wales. Coming up, our mystery property leads our couple to have a change of heart when it comes to character features.
No exposed stonework or beams.
So is the no exposed stonework a good thing?
Oh, yes.
And I head to Llandudno to take a tram trip down memory lane and admire some of the best views in Wales.
As you can see, the town now opening up behind you.
Oh, and the bay, look.
Yes.
Beautiful. Day 2 of our property search amongst the wonders of Wales, and I think we've probably got Helen and Robin hook, line and sinker with the house yesterday. But they do have to sell their property in France, of course, and we've got the mystery house yet to come. Now, this is a much more compact, much more simple and beautiful property, but will it be enough to dislodge house number 2 from yesterday? Let's find out. For our mystery option, we're remaining in Denbighshire and travelling to the tiny hamlet of Bontnewydd. Nearby is the city of St Asaph, where, set on the banks of the River Elwy, is the smallest cathedral in Britain, an important spiritual centre since 560 AD. Today, the bustling high street features an array of shops and cafes, as well as arts and craft galleries. Located just over 3 miles downstream and sitting neatly in a river valley is our mystery property. For a couple who have lived in a large French farmhouse, I couldn't resist showing them something with historic Welsh roots as well as modern style. But the compromise here is on the dimensions inside and the gradient outside, with not an eco feature in sight. This is the first time I've showed you a property that's actually in amongst other properties.
It's nice to feel that we've got immediate neighbours that you can talk to and learn a little bit about the area and go to for help sometimes if you have a problem and you don't know how to resolve it.
So the River Elwy here, and then this is the Mystery House.
Oh, wow.
It's about 200 years old, and the present owners have spent 25 years remodelling it in this incredibly, almost Zen-like perfection.
It does look very, very quaint.
It does.
And fantastic.
It's beautiful.
Can't wait to see inside.
Yes.
And so follow me.
Constructed during the early 19th century, this property, built from locally sourced stone and slate, was formerly 2 cottages. The Mystery House is the smallest of all the properties we've shown Robin and Helen, in a bid to challenge their mindset on the amount of space they're after from their new home. Although small, it's perfectly formed. It's been exceptionally renovated to a high spec throughout, but I wonder if this is enough for them to see past the proportions.
Very nice.
It's beautifully finished.
Beautifully
I love the
finished.
wooden units here.
Yeah.
And the range stove as well, plenty of heat for the colder parts of the year.
Yeah. Nice,
Very nice.
Nice light coming through
Yeah, both windows.
both sides.
And the kitchen really for us is the focal
It's
point.
the heart of the home, isn't it?
Helen spends a lot of time in the kitchen, whether she's making pickles or herbal infusions, and this is beautiful. This is ideal.
Well, behind you, you've got a sort of second kitchen, which is a sort of utility room with all the fridges, the work surfaces. What they wanted to keep this as a sort of old-school Welsh country kitchen, not with any kind of fitted units. This is a bit of a wild card, this house, because from your spec, it's a bit too small.
But we are downsizing.
We do have to come to terms with the fact that we are downsizing. And this actually is the right size for a kitchen. It's ample space.
It's a promising start inside, so I'm intrigued to hear their thoughts on the size of the next room.
Here's the sitting room.
Slightly smaller than I'd thought, but it works.
Yes.
It's beautifully done.
What is the sort of vibe you're picking up from this place?
Very calm, very relaxing, and welcoming.
You see this huge beam here. So local historian has traced that back to, as a mahogany ship beam, and that probably means that it goes back to about the mid-1700s, early 1800s. Let's look at the sleeping accommodation.
Lovely.
It seems that the impeccable interior has indeed won them over, but there's still more to explore. On the ground floor, there's also an office, which could be useful for either Robin's work or Helen's studies. Next, we're heading upstairs, where there are a total of 3 bedrooms. There are 2 spacious double rooms and a small single. All the bedrooms are served by a well-presented family bathroom, which features a freestanding bath. We're off to explore the master, pausing briefly to admire the landing.
You could have a little library here with the books
Absolutely.
and the view.
Yes.
Nice comfy chair to sit in.
Yes.
Don't get enough landings these days, do you?
Enough landings. it's
Ideal
true.
space for books and sitting and reading and
Absolutely.
oh, what a beautiful bedroom.
This is lovely. It's very
It
nice.
is.
Well finished.
Yeah.
Nice and square. No exposed stonework or beams.
So is the no exposed stonework a good thing?
Oh yes.
It's almost a serene feeling, if that's the right word to use.
I might rearrange the furniture so that you actually wake up looking at this view.
Yes, lovely
over
across the
river.
valley. You see the river, the
How
valley.
green is my valley?
Yes.
Very green.
Very
The odd sheep walking around. Yes, very nice. It's a lovely spot.
Let's go look in the garden, because that's obviously important for you guys.
To the outside and front of the property, there is a garage organised as a super neat workshop. To the rear, the gardens are carefully tiered and immaculately maintained. Interspersed with seating areas to take full advantage of the valley views, Helen might have to rethink her grand horticultural plans. There's also a summer house featuring a wood-burning stove. With the house receiving resounding praise so far, I wonder if the lack of flat space out here for their dogs and future poultry is going to be a sticking point.
The issue, the fly in the ointment perhaps, is that it's not huge. These formal gardens are pretty much the extent of your land.
It's terraced, and that would, for me, is a big compromise. I have to think about.
Yes. Okay.
But you do get the view. I've seen
Yes.
the
It's
kind of
fantastic.
Beautiful view across
Yeah.
the valley. Yes.
And see, that's the payoff.
Yes. It's a lovely location.
It's absolutely
It is.
beautiful.
It's a
yes.
fantastic spot.
Yeah.
Of course, the question is, can you afford it? What do you think the price of this one is?
I'd say it's £1 short of our budget, so £399,000.
I think I would venture as much as £415,000.
It is actually £5,000 short of your top budget. It's on at £395,000.
Wow.
And
Okay.
it's worth it. So
Yes,
it's,
yes.
It's lovely.
Just below our buyer's top budget, our mystery cottage with 3 bedrooms has been beautifully restored to complement the original features of the property. With an immaculately kept terrace garden and workshop, it's located in the centre of a small hamlet.
Holy.
Wow. Now this is a workshop and a half. I don't think you'd see me much upstairs in the house if I was down here working. You get one vehicle in and work around it.
I think this is the best one we've seen,
Yes.
workshop-wise.
Yeah.
This is just amazing. It's everything that I thought I didn't want and find that actually I really do. So it's lovely, really lovely.
Why would any man want to leave this space, really? It's an ideal working space. Truthfully, I could probably say this is our ideal home.
My head's saying, hang on, you need to think about this. But my heart and my head are going to have a battle, quiet battle all of their own, and I know probably my heart's going to win. So
It's like the Mystery House is an evil genius that has upset all their plans. Because I think once Robin's seen that workshop, Helen's going to have to settle for that as her vegetable patch. Did we win with the Mystery House?
I think you might have done, yes.
Oh, good. Let's go and find a spot to think it all over.
Along the North Welsh coast lie 2 prominent limestone headlands that sandwich the elegant Victorian resort of Llandudno. Named the Great Orme and the Little Orme, the larger of the 2 rises over 200 metres from the sea and on a clear day boasts arguably the best view in North Wales. But in the late 1800s, visitors to Llandudno faced an exhausting hike to enjoy the panorama. So, a mile-long tramway was built that ferried passengers through the town's narrow streets and up to the summit. I'm meeting tram attendant Robert Donoghue to hear about the only cable-hauled public tramway in the UK.
Remind me, what's the definition of a tram?
A tram is on a road,
Right.
whereas a railway runs off a road.
So this is a sort of half tram, half railway.
Yes, it's known as a tramway, but the upper section is across open country land.
How many people do you take up in a year, say?
We took just on 180,000 passengers last year.
Ah, so it's a popular business.
It is very popular, yes. It's popular all year round.
And are these the original carriages from the 1900s?
Yes, it's the original carriages built and first operated here in 1902.
So do I get to ride in the
Yes,
tramway?
certainly after you.
Thank you.
The tram operates in pairs, with the gravity of the descending car helping to pull its ascending partner up through the town.
How fast are we going?
We're doing probably about 4 miles an hour at the moment,
So you could walk up quicker.
but your legs would know it.
Your legs would hurt. It's pretty steep, isn't it?
It is one of the steeper sections. As you can see, the town now opening up behind you.
How... Oh, and the bay, look.
Yes, there's the bay.
Beautiful.
Although each tram has an attendant, it's the person who actually winds the cable who holds the title of driver. Drivers are based at a station halfway along the track, and it's here where we change carriages in order to continue on the second leg of the journey.
It's a bit parkier up here, isn't it?
It's a lot fresher. It is always a bit fresher on the top. One of the original architects and designers was a doctor, and he believed this was the best air in the United Kingdom. Plenty of fresh air. That's why no windows.
In total, the journey takes 20 minutes from the seafront up the headland to our final destination.
Thank you very much, Bob. It's been a real joy.
I'm glad you've enjoyed
Real
it.
pleasure. I'm going to go and explore the summit, but maybe I'll see you on the way down.
You might do, yes. Okay.
Enjoy yourself.
Thanks now. Bye-bye.
At 2 miles long and a mile wide, the Great Orme is home to a Bronze Age copper mine, as well as a unique array of plants and wildlife. In fact, the site's geology, wildlife, archaeology and landscape are all protected as an area of conservation and special scientific interest. Now under the care of the National Trust, the Trust's Jane Richardson is giving me a heads up on the views from this magnificent vantage point.
If you look over that way, you start with Anglesey, you come along the North Wales coast past Llanudno, and then the majesty of Snowdonia and the Carnarvon mountain range behind. So it's almost like a sort of best bits of North Wales.
How wonderful. So if I came up here and had enough time to explore the whole of the Great Orme and it was a lovely day, what might I be lucky enough to kind of come across?
The really, really special thing is the butterflies. And if you came up here on a summer's evening and you were walking one of the paths in the quiet, you might get the silver-studded blues just in a cloud all around you, and it would be unforgettable.
Oh, amazing. And what about the future? I mean, are there plans that the Trust have for the future of the Orme?
600,000 people a year come to visit, but the main bit on the top, which is the bit the Trust owns, has always been out of bounds. So what we want to explore is, can we put footpaths through there? And then the other really big priority is about opening up the access for visitors and local people to enjoy.
What a delight to get a taste of Llandudno's seaside heritage, but also the unique landscape and wildlife of its headland. It's also good to know that this special part of the Welsh coast is being preserved for future generations.
Well, this is going to be a revealing chat, because I would have put good money on Helen and Robin going for house number 2. But the mystery house may have knocked it out of the water. Let's find out what they think. It seems like the mystery house caused a bit of a ruckus. You were sailing straight towards the second house, but actually I think the mystery house may have put a spanner in the works. Is that right?
A huge spanner, yes. Yesterday we were convinced it was everything we'd asked for.
A large house, country location, land, space for workshops and garaging, just everything we wanted.
So what happened as you were walking around the mystery house? What was going through your head?
Everything in it was as we would have it.
It was very well done, and we could see straight away that our furniture would fit, photographs would go on the wall. The kitchen was a nice feature with the range. The gardens being terraced were different to what we have now, but as far as Helen's concerned, completely workable.
I think you were saying all that, but actually you were just sold as soon as you saw the man cave, weren't
Yes,
you?
that's
Yeah, the workshop did sway it slightly. I'll be perfectly honest with you about that one.
You know all the tools don't come with the property.
Oh, it's got the
okay.
tools.
Is that a house you would have visited?
Actually, no, we wouldn't, because it didn't have any of what we thought of as our specifications.
So what happens next? What are the next steps for you? Obviously you've got your place in France to deal with.
Our next step is to go back home to France to speak with the estate agents, find out what efforts they're making to sell our current property, and we'd like to come back to Wales very soon and have another look.
Well, it's been very exciting because, you know, we set off down one track and we sort of kind of veered at the last moment down another. But I really hope that it kind of works out, and I do cross my fingers that the place in France sells, because it seems like you're ripe for the move.
Absolutely.
Love to. Thank you very much.
Bon chance.
Merci.
That was a wonderful journey from La Belle France to wonderful Wales. But I do hope that Robin and Helen managed to get all their ducks in a row and move as quickly as possible, because that mystery house really is an exceptional property, even though it was not at all what they were looking for. And I do hope that you join us next time for more Escape to the Country.
If you would like to escape to the country in Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland or England and need our help, please apply online at bbc.co.uk/be on a show.